Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is The Hills of California by Jez Butterworth. You know, I just like saying that name, Jez Butterworth. It sounds so tasty. Honey, would you like some Jez Butterworth on your hotcakes? Well, don't mind if I do, ma'am. That sounds delicious. It's a great name, right? And you know, with a great name like Jez Butterworth, it's gotta be good. So, it is good. This is the third play on Broadway that I've seen of his. I think he may have had 3 plays. He wrote Jerusalem and The Ferryman, and this is now his third one, The Hills of California. So first let's talk about what this play is about. It is set in 2 time periods, 1976 and 1955. We first start in 1976 and we meet these sisters who are coming to the home they grew up in, which is actually a hotel called the Seaview Hotel in Blackpool, England. Their mother is sick and dying, and they've all come together to see her off. The sisters arrive one by one and we meet each of them. And the one sister we're really waiting for, is that we're talking about, is named Joan. And these 3 sisters have all stayed in England, but Joan, the eldest, went off to America to become a recording artist. And she left many years ago, and they've lost touch with her, and there's a lot of resentment there. And the question is, will Joan show up? We become aware that this is a dysfunctional family. And then we flash back to 1955 and we see the mother of these 4 sisters, and she is a Mama Rose type. She's teaching them to sing and dance because she wants to create an Andrew sister type group, and so that they can become famous and will have great success. Everything in this play hinges on this one meeting that the mother has set up through a vaudeville friend of hers. A American record producer is coming to hear these 4 sisters sing, and they have not been able to get bookings lately, and this is just a make or break situation, and everyone's a little desperate. So that's the big moment that we're waiting for. And then of course in 1976, the big moment we're waiting for is for Joan's arrival. And of course both of these things happen. Now Jez Butterworth's plays have something in common. They're all very long, they all have lots of characters, and they all have a slow burn to the beginning of the play. This play is just under 3 hours. It's 3 acts, but there's only 1 intermission, and there's a slight pause for them to shift between Act 2 and Act 3. Did the play need to be that long? No, it absolutely could be trimmed. But was I bored? I wasn't bored, because this is a play that came from the West End. They brought the whole cast, they brought it to Broadway so that we don't have to go to London to see it. This show has been worked on a lot. Everything is firing at 100%. The actors are great. The set design is amazing. The lighting is great. The playwriting is great. The direction is great. Everything is great about this play. So if the beginning of the play takes a little while to get going, I'm okay, because immediately I felt I am in good hands with these people. And I was willing to just sit back and let them introduce this world to me and introduce the characters to me, and I was fine with it taking a little longer than it probably needed to take. And that said, as we get into the second and third act, things become much more dramatic, and there is no sign of boredom happening then. Lots of characters in this play. Did we need this many characters? Probably not, but this show was produced in London, where they make plays with large casts. We don't do that in the US anymore. We just don't. Not on Broadway. It's too expensive. If this play had been produced on Broadway, I can guarantee you that the producers would have demanded that several of the characters be cut. Because to be honest, the men in this show don't have a lot to do, and they're not really that necessary. 2 of the sisters have husbands that are kind of milquetoast. Is that a word? Milquetoast? Milquetoast. Sounds like when you pour milk on toast. I'll have to look that up. They're kind of these dull guys, and they're kind of there so we can see how these 2 sisters react to them, but I don't think it's really necessary, because they talk about them when they're not there, and that gives us all the information of how they feel about their husbands. So I didn't find them that necessary. They only have 1 scene together anyhow by themselves, and they're just giving exposition, and it could have been handled another way. We also meet the second oldest sister, Gloria's 2 children. They're in 1 scene. Also, I didn't think that necessary either. So, not really bored at all during this play, and very engaged in the second and third acts. Was I confused? For the most part, not confused by this play at all. Now, I do have to say they are from Blackpool, and they are doing Blackpool dialects, and there are some lines that I missed. And if you have any hearing issues, For the older audiences that might be seeing this play, you're probably going to want to do the infrared hearing set. Also, I don't recommend sitting super close to the stage because they have a lot of tables and chairs that are set really far down towards the edge of the proscenium. And if you're sitting in those first 2 or 3 rows, you're going to have a little trouble seeing over the table or the chair or whatnot. I was maybe 4 or 5 rows back, and I still was having to do a little looky-loo. So any of the confusions I had in this play were very minor, and I was willing to just let them slide. But for the sake of having something to nitpick and talk about, I'll tell you about some of the confusions. One of the confusions I had was with the character of Ruby, who I believe is the youngest sister. She's either the youngest or the second to youngest. Oh, let me start with that. When first time we flash back from 1976 to 1955, we meet the 4 daughters. And to be honest, other than Joan, who's the oldest, I wasn't sure which one was which. Now, this is probably my own fault because if you look at the program, it has a photo of the 4 oldest daughters and the 4 youngest daughters, and they're all sitting in the places that they line up. So you won't be confused if you open your eyes and look at the playbill. And look at this. This one has glasses and this one has glasses. Of course, when I saw the play, didn't clock the glasses, and so I was a little confused, but by the second act, I figured out which were which. So I want to talk about Ruby. Twice in the play, she has what appears to be some kind of seizure or panic attack or hyperventilation. Was a little confused by that. The first time it happens, they're all laughing about something, and I thought she's choked on a cherry pit or something because she was drinking a beverage. Maybe it was a Shirley Temple and there was a cherry in it. I don't know. And then again, it happens later in the play, and it was more like she's having a panic attack. I wish it would have happened when she was a little child and someone would have explained what it was that happens to Ruby, because I didn't really follow what that was. Another thing about the milquetoast husbands is I didn't find them that fully developed characters, and Ruby describes her husband as just being so plain. She has this funny line where she says, if he went missing and a police officer asked me to describe him, she wouldn't know how to describe him. Now, the actor playing this character of Dennis, he's probably trying to not be interesting, but he's just kind of an interesting character. And he's double cast as this vaudevillian, this comic guy in the 1955 scenes, and they're very different type characters. And so I think maybe this actor was really cast for the more important role of the vaudeville actor, the 1955, who's just like a jokester, and he's always on stage and performing. As Dennis, I found him actually quite interesting. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't think the husbands were necessary, so I would have rather just not have seen Dennis and just had her describe him, and then in my head, I could have created the type of character that she was describing. One other little confusion I had involved the character of Joan as a young girl. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but she makes a choice towards the end of the play, which I was confused as to whether she really understood the ramifications of her choice. I know that the mother, this Mama Rose type character, Veronica, really wants her children to be stars, and she is willing to do anything to make that happen. I wasn't sure if the sisters had that same drive. And Joan makes a choice towards the end of the play where I wasn't sure if she was making the choice because she had the same drive as her mother did, or if she didn't really know what she was getting into. Veronica and Joan are both played by the same actor, which is kind of great because they talk about them being so alike. And I have to say, Laura Donnelly, who plays both of these roles, is fantastic. It's a role that an actor dreams of because she gets to play the mother and the daughter, and she plays them completely different types of people. And she does a brilliant job at both of them, especially as Veronica. And then when she comes on as Joan, you're like, wow, is this the same actor? She's so great. She will be nominated for awards. She may even win some of them. And I have to say, the 4 adult daughters are great. Each one of them, to me, had a very clear personality. I love these 4 women together. Great ensemble acting. I've gone on a long time about this play, so just to sum it all up, it's a little bit of a slow burn at the beginning, but it's worth it. I was completely enraptured by this play. The set is gorgeous. There's a really beautiful moment involving the staircase, which you will see. So Go see The Hills of California. I highly recommend it. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. And please like, comment, and subscribe. It really will help me to grow this channel, which will help me to get tickets to see shows, because right now I'm paying for them and it's expensive. So do me a solid. All right, thanks.
Don't bore me, don't confuse me. If you do, then you'll lose me. Don't wanna drift away, wanna stay inside the play. Keep me engaged, keep me amused with what's in front of me, 'cause I don't wanna be bored.